Okay, so we've already got the switch off the wall here. Now to explain, we've already turned the power off and we've already checked. So that's one key factor. We've already checked that these are dead. So what we have here is we have a switch wire, we have our active and we have our switch wire and we have our neutral. But today we're going to actually connect our neutral free. So this is our Stitchy dim neutral free. And I'm just going to show you the fact that we can do it with or without a neutral. It doesn't really matter. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my active, which is my brown, in with my active over here. So I'm just going to unscrew that. Okay, so I'm just going to take this, twist it around, and then we're going to reinsert that. Okay. Okay, so now we've got our switch wire over here. So we're actually going to pull our switch wire out, because what we do is we actually put Stitchy in series with the switch wire, and we're going to put our switch wire, our red one, in that same location. So by pushing that in, now we'll tighten up the screw. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our switch wire and we're going to put it with the switch wire. Okay, so this is the actual return. Now in a normal circumstances you could use the loop terminal, but in this case I've got a BP connector which I'm going to put over the top of that and screw that on. Okay, so in this case, even though we've got neutrals, we've decided that we're not going to use the neutral. So these are a neutral free device, so we're actually just going to put a BP connector. There's no reason why we're not going to use it, but in this case we're not going to use it. Okay, so now we'd cable tie that, and that's only just to keep it all together. Okay, so there's no strain on the cables or anything like that when it's installed back in the wall. Okay, so just pull that tight. Okay, and then we slip back in the wall. Now, even though that's neutral free, we still can make it discoverable by 5 clicks of this switch or 5 pushes of the reset button on here. Now this is a dimmer, so if I dim the lights and the lights start to flicker, I can set the minimum set. Also, if I have a little bit of flickering on my lights, if I bring them down and I want them to go a little bit low and there's a bit of flickering, we have a load correction device here which works well with Stitchy. Okay, so simply put, the load correction device goes directly across the light. So in this instance, it would go between the neutral and the light. Okay, so basically direct onto the light, not onto the active, not onto the switch wire, but directly onto the light. Okay, so in this case it would go in with our white. So we just loosen that off. Obviously we would strip that a little bit further, slide that in, connect it up, and because in this instance we are actually using neutral free, it would go in with our neutrals, which are just down here. So just by loosening that off and installing that in there just like that, we've now installed our load correction device. Now you'd only use a load correction device if your lights are flickering or if you got a bit of wavering in your lights, and what it does is just puts a little bit of extra load across the actual light fitting. Okay, so that's all set up. So now I just slide that back into the wall. I've made it discoverable and I screw my switch back on the wall, and we then go off and do the next step, which is programming. So thank you for watching.